In 2007, a Star Wars fan walked into a toy store and paid $500 for a Lego set. The Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon. More than 5,000 pieces. It took weeks to build. For years, it sat on a shelf collecting dust. That same $500 set, still sealed in its original box, now sells on the secondary market for well over $4,000. Pristine sealed examples have gone much higher. The person who bought it at retail and never opened the box made roughly 10 times their money just by leaving it in a closet. Here is the question. What is sitting in an attic, a basement, a childhood bedroom closet right now that quietly beat the stock market? Not what someone was told was valuable, not what was insured, what was simply forgotten. Two economists at the Higher School of Economics in Moscow published a peer-reviewed study in the journal Research in International Business and Finance. Viktoria Dobrinskaya and Julia Kishilova analyzed the prices of 2,322 Lego sets over nearly 3 decades, from 1987 to 2015. Their finding, retired Lego sets on the secondary market returned an average of 11% per year. 11%. That is more than large stocks over the same period, more than bonds, more than gold, more than art and wine. The economists found that Lego sets outperformed large stocks, bonds, gold, and other alternative investments. The real return after inflation was still 8% annually. A set purchased for $100 and held for a decade, unopened, could reasonably be worth over $280. Some sets did far better. But here's the detail most headlines missed. Not every Lego set appreciates. Not even close. The study was clear. The highest returns concentrated in small, theme sets that retired quickly. Large, generic sets, and those that stayed in production for years, showed far lower returns. The average was pulled up by the extreme performers, the rare sets that nobody knew would become rare. And one of the most important factors was simply whether the box had ever been opened. In 2003, Lego released a Star Wars set called Cloud City. The retail price was $99.99. It was based on the floating city from The Empire Strikes Back. It came with 7 minifigures, including Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and a version of Boba Fett, with printed details on his arms and legs. Cloud City was not a massive hit. It sold modestly. It was retired quietly. Today, a sealed Cloud City set can sell for well over $10,000 on the collector market. That is around 100 times its retail price. That works out to more than 15% appreciation year after year for 2 decades. Most of that value comes from one small plastic figure packed inside, the Cloud City Boba Fett minifigure. It has printed arm and leg details that were never repeated in any other set. Even used, the figure alone can sell for over $2,000. And here is the part that matters. In 2003, nobody knew this, Cloud City was just another Lego Star Wars set. No price guide predicted its trajectory. No financial advisor recommended it. The people who ended up sitting on a 5-figure asset were the ones who simply never got around to opening the box. That is not a flex. That is a confession. They forgot about it. But the Cloud City set is not the rarest thing Lego ever made. Not even close. In 2007, Lego ran a contest. It was quietly announced in the Lego magazine, the kind of promotional insert most people threw straight into the recycling. The prize? A C3PO minifigure cast in solid 14-karat gold. Lego made exactly 5 of them. 5 in the entire world. The winners were not millionaire investors. They were ordinary fans who mailed in a postcard, entered a contest, and in some cases forgot all about it. In 2019, one of those 5 gold C3PO minifigures was listed on eBay with an asking price of around $300,000. As of 2025, estimates place the value of a single one at somewhere between $200,000 and over $300,000. A plastic toy, cast in gold, given away for free, worth more than most houses. The dark irony is that the gold itself, the 14 carats of metal, is worth perhaps $1,000 or so as raw material. The rest of the value is story, rarity, the fact that only 5 exist, and some of them are almost certainly sitting in attics or boxes or drawers, their owners having no idea what they are holding. But not every Lego set is a gold mine. And this is where the story turns, because for every Cloud City or Millennium Falcon, there are hundreds of sets that did the opposite. Take a typical large castle or city theme set from the early 2010s. Retail price, $120. Popular at the time, sold well enough to stay in production for years. Parents bought them for birthdays and holidays. Kids built them, played with them, and eventually stored them. Today, that same set, unopened, can often be found on secondary markets for less than its original price a decade later. Adjusted for inflation, the loss is even steeper. Why? Because the theme was popular. Millions of people bought it. Millions of people stored it. When the theme retired, there was no scarcity. Everyone who wanted one already had one. Everyone who thought they might sell one later was competing with everyone else who had the exact same idea. The Lego secondary market is brutal in its simplicity. Scarcity drives value. Popularity, perversely, destroys it. The sets that become valuable are the ones nobody thought to collect. The small, themed runs that retired quickly. The niche licenses that failed at launch. The promotional giveaways that most people threw away. And the people who bought them did not buy them as investments. They bought them because they liked the set, or their kid wanted it, or they picked it up on clearance. The value came later. The value came to the people who were not looking for it. Here is what the Lego story is actually about. A peer-reviewed study by 2 economists at a respected university found that a children's toy outperformed gold and large stocks. The mainstream press covered it for a week, then moved on to the next curiosity. The headline said, "Lego is a better investment than gold." The headlines missed the point entirely. The point is not that anyone should buy Lego sets as an investment. The point is that real value hides in the things nobody is trained to look for. The things that are not on the financial news, not in the Wall Street Journal, not in a brokerage account. Think about how many things in a lifetime are valuable in ways that have never been examined. The Lego set in a parent's attic, the minifigure in an unsorted bin, the promotional toy won as a child and never thought about again. Then go further. How many skills were dismissed because culture said they were not marketable? How many ideas were abandoned because nobody else seemed interested? How many things were never done because nobody around recognized their worth? The Cloud City set was a modest seller when it was released. A footnote. And now it is worth well over $10,000. The culture is almost always wrong about what things are worth in the long run. It celebrates what is popular now. It ignores what will be scarce later. It mistakes attention for value. The people who end up holding the most valuable things are rarely the ones who bought them as investments. They are the ones who simply never threw them away. Money is a tool. It is not an identity, but attention is the edge, and it always has been. So here is the question. When was the last time someone checked their parents' attic, their childhood closet, the box of old toys in the garage? Go look for the Lego set that never got opened, the one that sat in the back of the closet because it was a duplicate birthday gift, the minifigure won in a contest and forgotten about. Check the seal boxes first. A seal box can multiply the value many times over. Subscribe to Money Fails. Real stories, real mistakes, real lessons. Because the most valuable thing you own is probably the thing you never think about. See you in the next one.